Good evening, and it's wonderful to have a nice full house. Welcome everybody to a regular council meeting, Monday, August the 1st. Please join me, rise, and for the invocation and pledge done by Councilwoman Bowers.
As we gather, we are reminded that despite our differences, we are linked by our common humanity. May we work together to move our community forward in a spirit of mutual respect and common decency. And in doing so, we showcase what is best about Gahanna, Ohio, and the United States. Let informed reason, evidence, and argument inform discourse, not only at council meetings, but also in all aspects of our lives. Demand good reasons, arguments, and evidence when people present claims. Thoroughly consider perspectives of those with whom you disagree. May we challenge ourselves and others to improve our quality of life. May we extend respect to others. May good argument, evidence, and reason guide the decisions of all within and outside of this room. So let it be. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Angelou.
Here.
Bowers.
Here.
McGregor.
Here.
Padova.
Here.
Here.
Schnetzer.
Here.
Weaver. Here.
Thank you. Item B, are there additions or corrections to tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to hearing of visitors. And Madam Mayor, I believe you have a proclamation.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. President. So at the beginning of every month, sometimes, not every month, but most of the times, we like to recognize national events, sometimes things that are happening within our community. August happens to be National Black Business Month, which was an event that was created to really bring, highlight, I should say, the black businesses, black entrepreneurs across the country in order to empower them, recognizing opportunities that they should have, that they need to have to grow and thrive within the United States. Just to share a couple of statistics, about 10% of all United States businesses are black-owned businesses and account for about 3 million businesses across the country. A lot of times I talk about how small businesses are the backbone of Gahanna's economy. We as in our development department define small business as a business with 20 employees or less. About 92% of our businesses fall within that definition. One of the things that we love as Gahanna residents that we love to talk about is the diversity of our community and how we embrace that. And I think that's something that all of our residents are very, very proud of. So with that, as I was preparing a proclamation for National Black Business Month, instead of just creating a proclamation and putting it on the website, I wanted to be able to recognize Gahanna's newest black-owned business, Marlowe's Cheesesteaks, with Shanika and Jamar Shepard. I was actually just telling them, my best friend grew up in South Philly, and she's pretty finicky about her food. And she went there to eat, and she told me it was spot on, and she started talking about the way they dice their onions. So I just told them, like, you get no higher praise than when Emily says they're spot on with the Philly cheesesteak. So if I could bring Shanika and Jamar Shepard forward and present them with this proclamation recognizing National Black Business Month, recognizing them as Gahanna's newest addition to our black-owned business community. But I wanted to also really just kind of cite the success that they had. They started their business as a mobile food cart. They were at Creekside Blues and Jazz Festival. They were doing events, festivals all around the community. They then had a space at the Easton Mall. They were only the second black-owned business at Easton. And they chose Gahanna for their very first brick and mortar community. And I'm going to read your words, because they chose Gahanna because of the community's reputation for embracing and supporting its small businesses. So that makes my heart swell with pride, but I'm just so glad that you're here, although I'm really mad. I told them if they come, they have to bring Kobe fries. Preferably with the chicken on it, I'm just saying. So in any event, congratulations. We thank you for your investment in our community. It is an honor to recognize you, and we look forward to helping you continue to grow your business here, and I'll personally be down to help you do that myself. Thank you very much.
Mayor, thank you. All right, we have a couple of, actually, we have few speaker slips. As I call your name, remember you have to come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes. First one is Noah Dennison.
Hi, everyone. Like you said, my name's Noah Dennison. Currently, I live at 264 Miller Ave. That's near Franklin Park. But I grew up in Gahanna. My parents still live here. And my sister actually spoke a couple weeks ago, so you probably recognize my name. Her coworkers and her, over the course of this summer, have experienced quite a bit of discord and things going on at the pools. The Gahanna pool was actually my first job as well. Suffice to say, it seems that things have changed quite a bit. As a sociology student, hearing these issues along with those that were expressed by Mr. Craig shortly after presented an interesting research question for me. Why is a quiet suburb like Gahanna, famously listed at number 96 on 2007 Money Magazine's Top 100 Places to Live, faced with such disarray? I spent some time over the last 2 weeks attempting to diagnose that problem. First, I wanted to start with a scientific basis. According to a 2021 study by behavioral scientists Benoit de Corson and Daniel Nettle, socioeconomic inequality invariably produces high crime and low social trust. Harsher police-enforced punishments do very little, if anything, to fix that. In fact, most research suggests that it has the opposite effect. So why, then, does the city of Gahanna commit 41% of its operating budget to the police department? Chief Spence mentioned in 2019 in defense of Issue 12 that we have a choice in what the future of this community looks like. He asked who would work for Gahanna's department rather than Dublin, for example. Interestingly, public safety only accounts for 9%, comparative to 41%, of Dublin's 2022 proposed expenditures, despite having 25% more residents and twice as many full-time officers as the city of Gahanna. Furthermore, median individual income in Gahanna as of the 2020 census is $42,660. This means that Chief Spence alone makes over 3.5 times as much in a year as more than half of Gahanna's residents. A new officer, fresh out of the academy, would make around 1.5 times median income. The Gahanna Police Department alone accounts for as much as the next 5 city budget items combined. Yet unruly teenagers and entitled parents are apparently outside of its capacity. In light of this, we should perhaps focus our efforts elsewhere. There are answers to the social issues at hand, according to the science, and although it may seem counterintuitive to some folks, these answers don't always include handing nearly half of the annual budget to police. Above all, we need to be creative and compassionate in safety policy and public budgeting decisions moving forward. Coming up with solutions that don't stop and start at hiring more officers and handing out harsher punishments will take work. But, as Martin Van Buren once said, it's easier to do a job right than to explain why you didn't. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Daniel Woods, please.
My name is Daniel Woods. I live at 1016 Ashmead Drive. Been a resident of Gahanna for over 20 years, 25 years now. I was asked to come to speak about bike safety and safety on the roads. I'm a member of a riding club, Major Taylor, was founded in 1979 here in Columbus, but we have a lot of residents in Gahanna that are members of the club. Some of the things that we were asked what to speak about was just the safety of riding on the streets. And some of the things that really need to be looked at is having more lights on people, more signs up to actually make people aware of cyclists, runners. I even mentioned earlier that one of the things that I'm a driver also. I see a lot of runners running the wrong way on the street in the middle middle of the night, sometimes early morning, and no reflective materials on them. It's be really dangerous for everybody. Really, I don't have anything more to say. I was thankful for asked to come speak for it. All right, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Patricia Kovacs.
Hello, City Council. Thanks for inviting me to speak. I'm also speaking on the, what's it called again? The Safe Driving and Share the Road Awareness Month proclamation.
Ms. Kovacs,
Yes,
can you state your name and
Oh, I'm
your
sorry.
address for the record?
yes, I'm sorry. Patricia Kovacs. I live at 527 Haversham Drive, which is in Foxborough.
Thank you.
So I'm the chair of the Bicycle and Trail Advisory Committee, who's worked over the years to provide a safe walking and bicycling environment for our citizens. Our committee advises the city on infrastructure projects which promote walking and biking. We also developed our Safe Route to School travel plans. That effort identified the barriers for children to walk or bike to school. Gahanna's made many improvements since that time, which include sidewalks, side paths, trails, pedestrian beacons and signals, and completion of the Big Walnut Trail from Morse Road to Price Road that benefits all Gahanna residents. All of these sidewalks and safe crossings have improved the walkability and bikeability for children in our neighborhoods, which previously were isolated from the schools and parks. We also helped to designate our shared bike routes in residential neighborhoods to guide residents on low-traffic, low-speed roads. We're so thankful to City Council and staff for funding and implementing these improvements to our infrastructure. We continue to prioritize future projects and keep the city informed on what we think is the best thing to do going forward. The COVID epidemic had an impact on active transportation. Many families survived the lockdown by getting outside on bikes or walking. Because it was difficult to find bicycles, BTAC was able to provide bikes to people who could not find them. We repair used bikes supplied by the Gahanna Police Department and local residents and give them to those in need. Unfortunately, the empty streets during the lockdown led to many, I'm sorry about my voice, motorists driving unsafely. We are still seeing the impact of these behaviors in speeding and red light running. The number of pedestrians killed on Ohio roads increased from 129 in 2019 to 173 in 2021, which is a 34% increase. The number of bicyclists killed decreased from 23 in 2019 to only 16 in 2020 when traffic volume was low, but increased to 28 fatalities in 2021, which was a 75% increase from the previous year. Although Gahanna residents are generally courteous to pedestrians and cyclists, we sometimes encounter motorists who drive dangerously. I often write on social media to remind residents to yield to pedestrians and drive cautiously around bicyclists. Unfortunately, some people respond that we shouldn't ride on the roads or we shouldn't ride on the sidewalks. I try to remind them we may ride on all roads except freeways, and on sidewalks in residential neighborhoods, which most of Gahanna is residential. The 3 Ds we fear the most when walking and cycling are drunk, drugged, and distracted drivers. The focus of the last few years of our statewide advocacy organization, Ohio Bike Federation, has been encouraging Ohio to adopt stricter cell phone and electronic device legislation. We participated in the ODOT-led Distracted Driving Task Force, which helped to draft distracted driving legislation, the latest being House Bill 283. Unfortunately, despite Governor DeWine's endorsement, the state legislature is not moving on the bill. In the meantime, Gahanna could make texting while driving a primary offense, like they've done in Columbus. I could go on about the ways we could make Gahanna safer for walking and biking, but I'll end with an invitation to join the Bicycle and Trail Advisory Committee to cheer on the Pelotonia riders who are raising funds for the James Cancer Hospital and Solo Cancer Research Center. We'll be meeting on Saturday morning, August 6th at Veterans Park at 8:30 to ride our bikes to Taylor Road to cheer on the riders as they pass through Gahanna. If you're not able to bike, you can stop along Taylor Road between Morrison and Rice Avenue between 7:30 and 11:30 when cyclists are expected to pass through. I would suggest arriving on a side street coming from the west to avoid driving on the Pelotoni route. And our thanks to Ms. Bowers for proposing this important proclamation. Finally, I just want to say I did leave these tips I have for driving around bicyclists and pedestrians to keep us safe. I left it up front if anyone wants to pick one up. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Sharon Montgomery.
Stay up. Sharon Montgomery, 572 Bonington Way in Gahanna. President Renner, Vice President Bowers, members of council and the administration, I strongly support Resolution 23 and its goal to remind us all of the urgency for safety on our roads. Public roads are rightfully used by people operating all kinds of motor and non-motor vehicles and people walking. And the people walking and on motorcycles and bicycles are more vulnerable than those of us inside cars and trucks. Each of us has a responsibility to use our roads safely and with awareness of and respect for each other. It's too easy to get caught up in the busyness of our daily lives and forget this responsibility. Reminders are helpful. It's also human nature to think something bad on the road won't happen to me, but it can in a split second. Just last week, as I drove west on Agler Road towards Stelzer Road, a darling little dog ran toward me. I was able to stop suddenly and miss hitting him, and the driver behind me was able to stop suddenly and miss hitting me. If either of us had been on a phone, the outcome would have been entirely different. Shortly before I retired from the city in 2016, an effort was begun to address driving under the influence of electronics. I'm not sure why it fizzled out. One result of that effort was this car magnet. I still have mine on my car, and I'm trying to get the Ohio Traffic Safety Council, of which I'm a member, to get it into broader use. As a follow-up to this resolution, I hope the city will consider bringing this magnet back. If you put this and/or a share the road magnet on all city vehicles and make them available to employees and the public, you could greatly expand the awareness provided by this resolution. As to Section 3, encouraging teens to speak up when a friend is driving distracted, that distraction is most commonly using a phone. Speaking up is hard for teens. They need help. They can be taught, for instance, to simply offer to send the message or look up the driving directions for their friend driving. School starts in Gahanna a week from Wednesday. With this resolution as a reminder, let's all start practicing alertness now. Thank you for addressing this important issue.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Clerk, any additional speaker forms?
I don't have any more.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving along. Item D, public hearings. We have one, facilities for the future, opportunity for public comment on our proposed project. Madam Mayor, would you or somebody of your administration like to make a comment before I open the hearing?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So the administration has had ongoing conversations with council dating back to the fall of last year with regard to an assessment of our city facilities, both in terms of the condition of our existing facilities as well as challenges that we are having with regard to needed programming space. That discussion included an exploration of options that are available to address those needs, and those dictates really came from the series of workshops that we had with council really in the first quarter of this year. On July 20th, as council is aware, we held a town hall meeting with residents to discuss and share information with them around not only the assessments that were done, but also with regard to an opportunity that has really presented itself. It's an opportunity that would position the city to address the needs of at least 3 city facilities for decades to come, and that is the building that's located at 825 Tech Center Drive. We had a great discussion with residents who were present that evening. The gallery looked very much like it does tonight, and there were also residents who were watching online and sent chat questions in that way. My office and our Internal Facilities Committee have developed a timeline for this project, and it really outlines the actions that need to be taken by council should the decision be made to pursue this project and this opportunity. That timeline, it should be noted, is one that aligns with the seller in this case. This is a commercial real estate transaction. And as such, there are certain parameters over which we have no control. And the seller's need as to when they need to move on this property is something that's dictating this timeline. So we have based it on the seller's needs, back that out in order to bake in as much opportunity for public discussion as we can have. Tonight is the first of 3 public hearings that will be held. My office and our internal committee worked with President Renner in adding those public hearing dates onto the timeline that was created, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So again, this will be the first of 3 public hearings after tonight. The next one will be August 15th. And then Tuesday, September 6th, which is the day after Labor Day. Those would be the next, I believe, regular council meetings when we'll have that opportunity for discussion. So the purpose of tonight's hearing, again, is the first opportunity to allow the public to begin to comment on this project. There is a facilities page that has been built out on the website. It has all of the assessments that have been done dating back to 2006. It has a link to the town hall, and it has materials from the 4 workshops that were done by council earlier this year. So that is available for the public to go back and to look at as well. So with that, Mr. President, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you. All right, before we actually open the hearing, I'm going to read the rules. This is from Article 9 of Council Rules of Procedure. 9.11, the public hearing shall be opened with the proponents being allowed 7 minutes. Opponents will be allowed 10 minutes, then 3 minutes for rebuttal by the proponents. Such time schedule shall prevail unless extended by the president without opposition by a council member. Everyone addressing council will approach the lectern and state their name and address for the record. Now opening the public hearing, I'm now seeking proponents for this issue. Are there any proponents?
Point of order.
Yes.
Would you like me to swear in the speakers?
Sure.
Okay. Actually, you took almost my whole list, so thank you. I appreciate that. As indicated, anyone who is speaking must provide a speaker slip and be controlled by the timeframes that was given by President Renner. At this time, any persons who are wishing to present testimony, please rise and raise your right hand. This could be quicker than we thought. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, City Attorney. We should have probably compared notes before we did this, because this is a little bit different twist to our procedure, but I appreciate that. I really do. Okay, seeking now opponents to our discussion on the facilities of the future. Are there any opponents? Okay. Hearing is now closed. I just want to give a thoughtful reminder to anybody in the audience and to people who might be watching from the comfort of their home that please take this serious. Go look at our facilities page. The mayor and the administration, her staff, have done a phenomenal job in putting together information for us, and we're really hoping to have a very constructive dialogue about this. So thank you. All right, item E, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt consent agenda as published?
So moved.
I have a first by Mr. Snetzer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Ms. Angelou. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Schnetzer? Yes. Angelou?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Weaver? Yes.
Wonderful, thank you. Item F, we have a motion before us. We did go through a little bit of a process to find somebody, but MT 0016-2021, I have a motion to appoint Mr. Paul Bryson to the Board of Zoning and Building Appeals, seat 5, for the unexpired term ending December 31st, 2024. Do I have a first to adopt said motion?
So moved.
Have a first by Ms. Bowers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Mr. Weaver. Any discussion? Okay, Jeremy, please call the roll.
Bowers,
Yes.
Weaver, Yes. McGregor,
Yes.
Padova,
Yes.
Renner,
Yes.
Schnetzer,
Yes.
Angelou.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item G, resolutions. We have one resolution, Resolution 0022-2022, a resolution approving a memorandum of agreement with the Board of Education of Gahanna Jefferson Public Schools, temporarily suspending city ordinances in chapters 1108 and 1197 regarding the duties of the Planning Commission for the new high school project. Do I have a motion to adopt said resolution?
So moved.
Got a first by Mr. Schnetzer and a second by Mr. Weaver. Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Mrs. McGregor.
I wanted to address, I very much appreciate the Planning Commission members who expressed their concern with the high school project at the last planning meeting. I agree with your concerns and assessments of this project and the very likely ramifications of passing the suspension and deferring of the process. The school board is an elected body, as we are, and they rely, as we do, on professionals in many areas. My comments last Monday were not directed at the school board, but those they are relying on. Who's in charge? Why did Lincoln Elementary get built with none of these issues? Who's watching the timing of all the needed deadlines? Why were the deadlines for the bond usage not met? Who is in charge? And I understand they've had a change of superintendent, so hopefully this will maybe correct some of the situation. I understand the Brownsfield decision and that we must abide by it, but the question is, why did it get to this point? Who was not watching the deadlines for the Planning Commission process for the bond deadlines? I will vote for the suspension of the rules because the city attorney says we need to unless we want a court fight. So I will hold my nose and vote for this, but it disappoints me that whoever's in charge of this project has messed the timing up so badly that now council is forced to suspend and defer our processes for their lack of preparation. This is a project for all of Gahanna, and I supported the levy. I applaud the community engagement that the school board solicited in planning the building, and I hope the new school will be a great asset for our community. A new building is sorely needed. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Schnetzer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess somewhat of a soft correction. At our 725 Committee of the Whole, I asked the question, what would this motion do and the resulting memorandum of understanding, or I guess memorandum of agreement. In essence, my question was that this was not, or I was asking for clarification if this would change the order of the process or if it would change the process in effect. And I just want to make a clarification after hearing some of the Q&A and back and forth discussion at the 727 meeting of Planning Commission. It does sound like there are certain steps within the city's process that will go uncompleted. Still, nevertheless, in light of the Brownfield decision, in light of the advice that we've received from outside counsel and the resulting economics of not passing this, I think it's in the community's best interest to adopt this, and therefore I'm in favor of it.
Okay. Any other discussion? Ms. Bowers?
Thank you. I'd like to first start off by thanking the Department of Planning and our engineering department for your work and effort on these items. I'd like to specifically recognize, I think, Kelly Wicker and Director Blackford and our city engineer, interim city engineer, Caitlin Ridge, have spent a lot of effort on this. So thank you. And thank you, too, to our Planning Commission for the work that you've done thus far in the process. Your role has been important, and I wanted to recognize that. Looking forward, we have a school board and an incoming superintendent that have expressed their commitments to working with Gahanna, Jefferson Township, and the greater community as a whole to create another much-needed, successful new school. I am confident that we stand ready, as a city, to participate in dialogue, problem-solving, and cooperative progress that serves our residents and Gahanna Jefferson school community. I hope that the offer remains open to work together through the scheduled process that's been negotiated, and I think I've understood has maybe been altered, but is still going forward, as the dialogue and the shared expertise will serve our residents. Regardless, I'm confident that we will live up to our commitment, all of us as elected officials, to work for the betterment of our residents, stepping up to help ensure success for this project. If City Council can support that path to success, I am confident that we will all continue to be willing to do so.
Thank you. Mr. Weaver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief. I want to echo Ms. Bauer's comments, thanking city staff for all of their efforts and work on this. I also want to thank the school district staff. I know that the schools and the administration have been in contact and communication for quite some time now, since at least February, I believe, on this topic. I also want to thank our Planning Commission, some of the members of which are here this evening, for their thoughts. If you want to attend a professional meeting with experts who take very seriously their job, go to a Planning Commission meeting. It is a dedicated panel of community members who only want what's best for this community, and so my hat's off to the Planning Commission members who are here, and I thank you. I also want to thank the representatives from the school board and the school district who are here this evening, and I think the Ohio Supreme Court in the Brownfield decision has made clear what has to happen here, and I think it is in the best interest of our community that we follow that advice, certainly from a fiscal perspective, as we certainly don't want to be litigating this, but also in terms of just building and fostering community not only between the school district and the city, but among our individual community members as well. And so I thank the schools for being here this evening as well. And so, yes, I will be voting in support of the resolution. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Ms. Angelou.
I believe I made what I was planning to say at the last meeting. And having been a teacher, I understand what's going on here. So I do hope that the Planning Commission and and I have to agree, the Planning Commission is the best Planning Commission we have ever had. And so they are wonderful, they are terrific, they watch everything. And we hope that the things that have to be changed to make this happen can then be put back into the right spots. So obviously I'm going to be doing this because we're kind of, court does not sound good to me. So I think a good school does, though. And it appears that we have a wonderful superintendent that's here for the second time. And I think that we have obviously the ability to make this happen. And I'm sure that anything that would be not happening the right way can be worked out. That's the only thing I can say. And thank you, Mrs. McGregor, for your thoughts as well. So I will be voting, obviously, for Brownfield.
Any further? Ms. Padova.
Thank you. I just want to echo thank you to the administration and everyone here has been working on this, and everyone on the side of the school who's been working on this to come to this agreement. As everyone here has kind of mentioned, I think that this is the fiscally responsible thing to do, and also supporting our schools who support the kids, and that is most important. So I will also be voting in favor of this. So thank you to everybody who has been working on this, and also the city attorney who I'm sure has put in a ton of work on this as well.
Thank you. I too will definitely be voting in favor of this. I definitely want to extend my thanks to the mayor and her staff on helping, and as well as to the school board for helping mitigate what's a very complex project. There are some comments being made still, though, that I think is just silly and outrageous. One of the things that you have to consider do not criticize until you've walked in somebody's moccasins, until you've walked in somebody's shoes, until you've actually, so making a comment that you're going to hold their nose is actually a little erroneous. I said this last week at Committee of the Whole, and I'm saying it again. We really, for the record, you don't understand until you fully understand both sides of a very complex project. And for somebody who actually deals with public projects and with their complexities, I'm telling you, this one is very complex. My hats off are always to all city staff and to people, residents who actually give their time. I asked the Planning Commission members to give their years of expertise, lend them, volunteer to the school board, be a part of the dialogue. This is probably one of the most pivotal projects that are happening in the city of Gahanna. With the schools, it's definitely important for our residents that we actually get this correct. So, and I have no further comment after that. Jeremy, please call the roll.
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Angelou?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Hey, motion passes. The resolution passes, sorry. Item H, ordinances for introduction and first reading. We're not taking any action on these tonight, but I will read them into the record. Ordinance 41-2022, an ordinance authorizing the creation of the One Ohio Fund number 20440. Ordinance 43-2022, an ordinance authorizing supplemental appropriations damage to city property. Ordinance 44-2022, an ordinance authorizing supplemental appropriations, water fees. And our ordinance 46-2022, an ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into an office and industrial incentive agreement with Columbus Aesthetic and Plastic Surgery for a period of 10 years. Item I, correspondence and action. Mr. Clerk, do we have anything?
Nothing this evening.
Thank you. Council colleagues, do we have anything?
I have one item.
Ms. Bowers.
Thank you, Council President. I received an email from Amanda Turner of the Preventing Tobacco Addiction Foundation / Tobacco 21. I just wanted to kind of put this on people's radar. Tobacco 21 is partnering with Franklin County Public Health, who recently joined the Coalition to End Tobacco Targeting. And they are also working on a tobacco retail licensing program. The goal of Tobacco 21, I didn't actually realize this until I was looking at their website, but many states have raised the age of purchasing tobacco items to 21. So the goal is to help prevent teenager tobacco use and addiction, and certainly I think with the targeted goal of raising the legal age to 21. Ms. Turner has asked to connect with the City of Gahanna to learn more about these initiatives, particularly the tobacco retail licensing program that I think Franklin County Public Health is taking up. So she may be in contact with others here in the community about these efforts. I just wanted to raise that to the awareness of the body. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other correspondence actions from colleagues? All right, thank you. Representatives, item J. I'm sorry, I skipped. Why do I feel like I skipped something?
No, you're fine.
Okay, representatives, CIC. My Renner and Weaver. Let me just pull up my. So I have a report for the July CIC meeting. CIC started promptly at 8 a.m. Finance reported that at the end, CIC is holding $966,000 in cash, $175,000 in escrow, and have about $3.5 million in total assets. The mayor reported, as she always does, and she's kept us up to date, reported on the Department of Parks and Rec comprehensive master plan that is underway, and she also mentioned the town hall for the facilities master plan that was on the 20th. Finally, the city will host a business networking event at Franklin Peak at November 18th as part of her ongoing ambassadorship to our initiatives. Planning Committee provided updates on Crescent at Central Park, most specifically at the plat for the 4 lots on 10 acres. That was before council and also passed by council. Development Committee reported that the RFDP, a request for development proposal, was published July 5th to a very large number of recipients. These include engineering firms, architects, developers, and contractors. Responses were received last week at the deadline on July 29th and will be evaluated by the end of this week. So stay tuned. Governance Committee, there were no updates. Real Estate Committee, we handled some inquiries from property manager regarding ending leases early and determined it was okay as long as people had other accommodations. Real Estate Committee also had a couple of minor discussions that were held by the Champooch building that were addressed. Under Section 121.22 G2 of the Ohio Revised Code, CIC went into executive session at 8:33 to discuss purchase of property, and executive session ended at 8:41. Technology Committee updated the CIC on some particulars about the WOW Brisling contract, as well as the coming CIC website. CIC then adjourned at 8:48 a.m. Mr. Weaver, do you have anything in addition to add to that?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, MORPC, Ms. Angelou.
Thank you, Chair. The Executive Committee meeting will be on this Thursday, August 4th, at 1:30 in the boardroom and we're going to be back for the rest of the year. We've had off 1 month and was in July, and we're all looking forward to going back to the regular commission. So, thank you.
Thank you. Convention and Visitors Bureau, Ms. Padova.
Thank you. The Visit Gahanna does have a job opening for community development and event manager. So if anybody is interested in that or knows anybody interested in that, you can go to visitgahanna.com to apply and see the full job description. That is all for me.
Thank you. School Board, Ms. Bowers.
Yes, thank you. Well, first, let me give an official welcome to Dr. Deagle on her first day. I'm sure it doesn't quite feel like a first day, but welcome officially. I will look forward to joining you at the reception this Thursday at Lincoln Elementary School. The public is welcome to join from 6:30 until 8. Kona Ice will be there, and we will have the opportunity to meet our relatively new treasurer, Scott Gooding, as well as get to meet Dr. Deagle, and I am assuming many of the school board members will be there as well. A couple of important, we already heard that the first day of school is actually already here next week, Wednesday, August 10th. A couple other dates. August 27th, I noticed in the superintendent's note, is I think an event that will be well received by the community. Lights Out and Stadium Farewell and Community Homecoming on August 27th. I had an opportunity last week to attend a really lovely partnership between the district and the Columbus Metropolitan Library. There was a very popular evening event, family reading event held at Lincoln Elementary, and I am sure that we will continue to see such great collaborations between the organizations. I wanted to mention, because I know it's on social media a lot right now, and I think the district is trying to raise awareness, that the USDA has ended the free lunch program that was in existence over COVID. So people have to recertify if they want, or certify if they would like to be considered for free and reduced lunch. So I want to just raise awareness that that people need to make sure to do that, as that federal funding has expired. Lastly, I just wanted to mention that Grin is working on backpacks to give out to students. The deadline has now passed to sign up for those backpacks, but I believe Grin is still accepting donations. And on that note, Grin is in extreme, just like Mid-Ohio Food Bank right now, is in extreme need. So if you have an extra $10 at the grocery store, that Grin is specifically looking for canned fruits and vegetables that are not green beans. I think I remember that, right? Yes. And I bring that up because Grin, and part of my report, thank you for humoring me a little bit, but Grin provides a significant amount of weekend lunches and summer lunches to our Gahanna Jefferson students, and they have seen an incredible increase in need over the last year. So I think that is all I have for school board liaison at this time, but I am looking forward to continuing the dialogue with the district and making sure that this major investment in our community is a great success for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item K, official reports. Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Initially, I'd also like to extend an official welcome to Dr. Deagle on your first full day. She has been working on a consulting basis with the district since early May, so, but I'm glad we could all throw this party for you tonight so that we truly welcomed you. I'd like to thank council as well for your vote this evening. I know several members of the school board are here as well, and it's my understanding they actually met earlier today at about 5 o'clock, and they also voted unanimously to approve the memorandum of agreement as well. I know this is a challenging step for council members, as we've heard last week. This is asking for a diversion away from our standard processes and something that we're typically used to doing with regard to having our planning commission be involved in that and having this review process. However, I do believe that this resolution that was passed tonight is a critical step in the path of this project. It's a project that has significant impact to this community. It's one we talked about last week. Ms. Bowers just mentioned that. We know that the school board and Dr. Deagle are appreciative of the support and accommodation that the city is giving to them and in identifying a path that will enable them to swiftly move this project forward. We're appreciative of their collaboration in this as well, and we look forward to continuing to work with them as this project proceeds. Going forward, we will be continuing with our biweekly meetings. Their project and construction team, as well as our entire internal team, will continue to meet for as long as it takes until this project comes to fruition. We want to make sure, as they do, that the project continues to move forward in an expeditious manner, but also does so in a manner that is consistent with all of the requirements that we have in place for construction here in the city. So we do look forward to that continuing dialogue as we work together on that. Next, sidewalk program. So after a great deal of preparatory administrative work for, I don't know, the last almost year, we are now in what I would call the action phase of the first cycle of the 2021 sidewalk maintenance program. This is, again, these programs are, each year of a program is a 3-year cycle, just to remind council of that. I am aware that there have been many questions now that the action is starting to take place and communications are happening with regard to notices, et cetera, that residents are asking a lot of questions about the program. Everything from the purpose of the program to what happens next to what are my options, et cetera, et cetera. Just as a reminder that my office and our staff members will hold a town hall public meeting tomorrow night right here in Chambers at 7 p.m. to discuss the 2022 sidewalk maintenance program, but also to answer questions that residents have about the program in general. The town hall will be live streamed as well, so we'll be taking questions via the chat, and that'll also be an opportunity for residents to ask questions in that regard. I also invite council members to attend. I'm sure they might have some questions for you, or you might have some questions that are answered on your own as we continue to work through this program. In the meantime, I would invite residents to view the program, the town hall program that we did back on the 2021 program. That was done on February 1st of 2021. It was a full in-depth discussion of how the sidewalk maintenance program works, everything from why it was created to what the operational mechanics of that program are. That is available on the city's YouTube channel. There's also, if you go onto gahanna.gov, there is a sidewalk maintenance page, and there is a link at the very top. It says watch February 1 Town Hall, and you just just click on that and it'll take you right to that as well. So again, for residents who are looking for additional information, that is a great resource to have. That being said, we'll all be here tomorrow night, live and in person, to repeat that town hall and get a little bit more in depth now that we actually are seeing how this works. And I also want to caution council and our residents. This is a brand new program. And I think City Attorney Malarski would also echo this, but anytime you implement a new code and a new program, as it starts to unfold and as it becomes implemented, there will be tweaks and there will be lessons learned as we go through this. So we will be coming to you. I have no doubt that at some point we'll be coming to you with some suggested code changes and some suggested revisions to this program as we learn, okay, maybe that didn't work so well and maybe we didn't think about this. So as this continues to unfold, we will adapt it and evolve as necessary to make sure that this program is efficient as possible for our residents. And as a reminder, this program was created by council using issue $12 to create an affordability mechanism for our homeowners. It is a mechanism through which they can maintain their sidewalks, which again is a state law obligation that is imposed on them for that. So again, more discussion on that tomorrow night. This is a very busy week here in Gahanna. Not only do we have the sidewalk program tomorrow night here in City Chambers, Council Chambers at 7 p.m., but we also have National Night Out, which is an annual event that is held nationwide. It was intended to really foster that relationship between our local law enforcement agency and the community which it serves. This event has been very popular in the city of Gahanna. I know Chief Spence is looking forward to being there, as well as many of his officers. I attended it last year. It's a very well-attended event. It will be held at Sunpoint Park tomorrow from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Is that correct, Chief? There'll be hot dogs and all kind of vehicles that kids can climb in and out of, and I know the officers just as much enjoy seeing the kids and talking with them about the work that they do and watching them climb through the vehicles is, I think, they enjoy just as much as the kids do. Then the following morning, Wednesday morning, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., we will have Coffee with a Cop at Panera right down the street. Again, another great opportunity. If you have questions about our police department, how they operate, why they operate, what they're doing, what their initiatives are, it's a great opportunity to interface directly with those officers and have that dialogue. Wednesday evening, Gahanna Farmers Market, presented by Make Gahanna Yours, continues, as well as Midweek at the Creek. Farmers Market is 4 to 7, Midweek at the Creek is 6 to 8. That Farmers Market has been, Make Gahanna Yours has done a fantastic job with the Farmers Market. For years, residents were talking about wanting more produce. They have, 2 or 3 vendors now with fresh produce every week. Walk right down the street from where you live, get some fresh produce. It couldn't be any more convenient than that, so stop by that event. And then the community meet and greet on Thursday with Dr. Deagle at Lincoln Elementary. As Ms. Bauer said, 6:30 to 8 p.m., and the community is invited to attend that. Then on Saturday, multiple events. Pelotonia will ride through Gahanna. There are pep squads being set up around the route to encourage community members to come out and bring your cowbells and whistles and cheer them on. The riders truly appreciate that. But do be aware there will be traffic detours and traffic impacts, especially if you are around the Tech Center Drive, Morrison Road, Taylor Road area. Then the Grin will have their backpack pickup from 1 to 2:30 at Lincoln Elementary, so traffic along that Helmbright area will be impacted by that. And then, of course, the Vets, Rods, and Classic Car Show from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. down at Creekside. Mill Street will be closed. Traffic impacts around that. And then later in the evening, I believe the Historical Society is hosting an event for Gahanna Founders Day, 4 to 10:30 p.m. down in the Historical Settlement. So I'm sure there will be some road closures and things around there. So great things happening in Gahanna on Saturday. It's going to be a busy day. Just please pay attention to where you're driving. It is safe driving and bicycle awareness and all these things. All these things are happening at one time on Saturday. So please be careful when you're out and about in the community this weekend. But it should be a great weekend for Gahanna.
Busy week. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you. I think I spoke enough last week to last the rest of the month. I just wanted to let you guys know that I am heading on vacation in a couple of days, and I will be missing next Monday. But Matt Roth will be here, and to my wife's chagrin, I will be taking my computer. So if there's something that I'm really needed for, I can be reached, and I can help you out. That's all.
Thank you, sir. All right, item L, council comment. Ms. Angelou.
Well, there's other things happening on August 6th. It happens to be my anniversary, 55 years and holding. Okay, so I just want you to know it's part of part of August is, things like that. Anyway, I'd like to also say that I believe that our police department is probably the best police department in all of the suburbs. And indeed, things can happen that we don't want to see and we don't want to hear, but I do know this, that we have a person here that is the best you could have. And so have we've got now 60, I believe, 61. And I think that we have some new people that are coming in, were there 4 that were coming in? 5? Okay. And I have to say this, that I think that we should be applauding our police, applauding them. They can't do everything, but they are the best. They are the best that we could possibly have. And I think that we should probably say how good things are rather than how bad things are. And sometimes bad things can happen. I don't know if you've watched TV. I've been watching it a lot since I had my accident. And all you see are, people being hurt, people being, just taking things out of places where they shouldn't be taking them. And then you see the people the police officers that have lost their life. It's not an easy thing to do. And so I want to compliment you, Chief, for everything you've done, and you for everything you've done. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McGregor.
As the mayor mentioned, we have a Founder's Day event at the Historical Society. I'm going to be grilling hot dogs for the afternoon, so if you're interested, come down and see what kind of events we have planned.
Thank you. Mr. Weaver?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank everyone for being here this evening, and thank everybody who spoke. It's greatly appreciated. And I know I don't like to speak for my colleagues, but I think it's safe to say we appreciate seeing the room full and people willing to offer comments and input. I want to thank my colleagues for passing the Safe Driving and Share the Road Awareness Month resolution. Echo the thoughts that have been shared already this evening. Please be careful out there and keep your eyes on the road. Also, offer another welcome to Dr. Deagle. It's great having you official on day one here, but it's been a pleasure getting to interact with you over the past couple months. And I would like to thank Mr. Barrett for his service and wish him well on his retirement. Per the mayor's comments, if you're unable to attend the Sidewalk Town Hall tomorrow, in preparation maybe for it, because I'm sure it will be posted online afterwards. After the first town hall, I said that was probably one of the best and most informative town halls that I've attended or been a part of, and so it is worth taking a look at. And I've in fielding some constituent questions over the past couple of weeks, I have referred to that town hall a couple times. So it is good information. And now that the moment is upon us, I encourage folks to attend and or take a look at that in the past. I would like to congratulate my colleague, Ms. Angelou, on her upcoming 55th anniversary. Allowing myself a moment of personal privilege, I would like to wish my own spouse and better half, Aileen, a happy 7th anniversary this evening, and I'll be home soon, hon.
Good for you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Ms. Padova.
So I also want to thank the speakers this evening, as well as the school board members and Dr. Deagle, and also our planning commission members who are here this evening. I also see some Make Gahanna Yours members in the back there. And I just want to give you guys a special shout out and thank you for the farmers market has been amazing. I've been able to walk down a few times this summer, and it is every year it just gets better and better and better. And I think combined with the midweek at the creek, it's just such a nice thing for our community to have the market, the music, just a nice little evening. To piggyback on what Ms. Bowers was saying with Grin, the back to school fair is this weekend at Lincoln Elementary. The registration date has been, or I believe ended yesterday, but at 2 p.m. they will have extras. I'm not sure how many yet because we have not gotten everyone entered into who has registered yet. But at 2 p.m., if you were not able to register, you can come get in line and we will pass them out until we run out. So if you miss that registration, you could still have a chance if you're able to go there too. And there are a lot of things that we are still in need of. There is an Amazon wish list, which you can check online. I believe that is on our website. And you can also look on that and then go to the grocery store and get the things and bring them in to donate. It doesn't have to be purchased through Amazon. And also we give out some food as well with those to help make sure everybody has a full stomach when they go back to school. And there is definitely a much an increased need here recently in the past few months in our community. So anything that you guys are able to do to help out or donate to Grin is very much appreciated. Along with vegetables and fruit, we are in need of almost every category in the pantry right now. We are about out of, we have a little bit of back stock of a few items, but almost everything is running a little bit low because we've had such an increased need. We usually have somewhere around 20 clients per pantry, and we've recently been flirting with 30, not quite there yet. I think one we did 30, but it has definitely been an increased need. So anything anyone can do to help is very much appreciated. I think that's all for me tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Snetzer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I originally didn't have any council comment or any addition to council comment, but in living up to, I suppose, my reputation for being a bit of a finance junkie, there was a statement made from the podium that piqued my curiosity about the proportion of spending on public safety relative to Gahanna's budget and a Northwest peer community. And it stuck with me a minute, so I just did some very quick back-of-the-napkin number crunching here in comparing Gahanna's spending per capita to, again, our peer city, and what I found out is we're actually quite in line. I would say the difference in the proportion of the budget is likely due to Dublin's much larger denominator. That's a luxury that they have, but unfortunately we don't. But I'm sure the chief would agree that there's probably, it probably does not cost any less to provide for professional public safety services in Gahanna than it does in Dublin. And what appears, again, using back-of-the-napkin math, we spend about the same as Dublin does, again, on a per capita basis, which I would argue is probably the more accurate metric. So if anybody wants to discuss afterwards, I'm certainly happy to have that conversation. But again, just something that stuck in my head, and so I had to do the math while we were sitting up here. So thanks.
I was waiting for you to do that.
It's your life.
Thank you. Ms. Bowers.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to thank our speakers that joined us tonight on the Share the Red resolution, and I'd like to thank Council Clerk for your work on helping draft that. Mr. Woods, thank you so much for coming and speaking to us. I learned about the Major Taylor Cycling Club just a few years ago. It was founded here in Columbus, Ohio, in 1979, and as Mr. Woods said, there's a significant resident base of Gahanna that participates in the cycling club. The mission of Major Taylor Cycling Club is to promote the sport of cycling, health, well-being, and camaraderie among its members. And what I found to be an interesting fact was that the first of many cycling clubs, this was the first of many cycling clubs named the Major Taylor Cycling Club. It was named after Marshall Walter, who went by Major Taylor, who in 1899 became the first African-American world champion in cycling. So thank you, Mr. Wood, and good luck to the MTCC team participating this weekend in Pelotonia. Thank you to Ms. Kovacs for your comments tonight, and to Ms. Montgomery for your advocacy on attentive driving. I appreciate both of your commitment to safe roads. Congratulations to the riders in this year's Pelotonia. I know we're looking forward to watching riders this coming weekend, and hope everyone has a very safe ride. On that note, I was just also would be remiss if I didn't mention the Tour de France Femme competition that just had its very first women's tour. And it had incredible viewership, really high viewership. It really showcased how interested the world is in women's sports. So I thought that was a really fascinating item too. Okay. I've provided a constituent report for June of 2022. I have circulated that to council members and request that that be incorporated into my comments here for tonight. I wanted to mention that in June, following the horrific Robb Elementary incident in Olvade, Texas, I collaborated on an effort to draft a letter to send to Governor DeWine, Speaker Cupp, and Senate Leader Huffman regarding common sense gun laws. This letter was signed by a dozen local elected officials, some of whom are in this room. Thank you to school board members Coates and Pickle-Antonio for co-signing in your individual capacities. Those of us who signed are also parents of students in Ohio schools. So we have a lot of skin in the game on this, I'd say. The letter was finalized and sent in July, and I've included a copy of that with my constituent report. The link is active in the PDF. I think I just want to say we do have a lot of things going on this weekend and this week in general, and I think that we are all really working on moving the ship in the waters together. So let's keep moving. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so a couple of comments. I too want to also thank our speakers that we had. And Mr. Woods, I appreciated meeting you before the meeting. And actually, you said something that was really good that I wanted to publicly comment on, the fact that you observe that runners and some bicyclists are on the wrong side of the road. And it really occurred to me, with all our public awareness campaigns, that we should probably add that to the list of things that that we are broadcasting all the time about that. You know, what side of the road, and to be honest with you, I can't even tell you right now, so that's embarrassing for me. But we should know what is the right side of the road when we do have to share roads with traffic. Unfortunately, we don't have all our own bicycle lanes yet. But definitely, we should do that. The comment, Mr. Denson, I'd like for you to stick around, and I'd like to introduce you to our Chief of Police. I have been on council since 2012, been very intimate and involved with the city and a lot of its processes, and I will tell you, we publish a lot in the police reports about the going-ons, what's happening inside the city on stuff that we don't really like to publicly talk about. And the leadership at our police department has really taken a real significant turn to the progressive era with our Chief Jeff Spence. And he also publishes a very comprehensive annual report. And I invite you to actually look at those, but I invite you to meet with Chief Spence, also participate in the National Night Out, come to Some Point Park. I can certainly introduce you to other members of our police force, or go to Coffee with a Cop. And they will all tell you some things that we need to be addressing in the suburb of Columbus, Ohio. So I'll just leave it at that. I am very grateful for the partnership that the mayor, again, I said this earlier, that the mayor and Dr. Deagle have created, and with the full support of the school board. I am very happy to see this to go in a different direction than some of the comments that we've had publicly. And I am really, really expecting some good things with a very large, complicated project. And then finally, July is a very big month for the Renner family. We have 2 birthdays. I am now the father of a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old. And then Melissa and I celebrated our 29th wedding anniversary on Saturday. So July is always a very big month. We start with a bang and we end with a bang, sort of. All right, I have no further comments after that. I am asking for a motion to adjourn our meeting.
So moved.
So moved. Thank you.